Hello friends, welcome back. In the first part of this video where I discussed with you about World Wide Web, uh, I said the topic was World Wide Web. I started discussing about the history and the versions. I talked about version 1.0 and 2.0. 2.0, I had time to just walk you through 2.0. Today I'll go into the other versions, but after giving you a bit more about Web 2.0, because that is what you all are, uh, you know, you all have already used and still using, because see, it is a overlap. Now, since you are using Web 3.0, you will say, no, Web 2.0 is a old thing. No, Web 2.0 is still integrated into our lives, into our, you can say, internet usage. All right. So what I will do is I'll walk you a bit through Web 2.0 and then I'll take it to Web 3.0 and tell you what are the features of Web 3.0. All right. So let's start with that. First of all, Web 2.0, what all, uses it had. What we are doing with Web 2.0. We're doing what? Podcasting was done, blogging was done, blogging was introduced in Web 2.0, it was done. Tagging, okay, social bookmarking through social networking and all this, all right. Social networking, of course, social media was there, got it? Social media, who will forget? Okay, a part of our daily life, isn't it? It was there. Social media was there, and of course something very important called web content voting. You can vote, you can rank the content that is available. Based on that, improvements take place. All right. Now, in case of Web 3.0, uh, the major features of Web 2.0, I'm sorry, when I'm moving into 2.0, from 2.0 to 3.0, I'm sorry. I'll talk about Web 3.0, but as I mentioned all these points about Web 2.0, the features which it included, remember them when you move into Web 3.0. Now let's get into Web 3.0. Web 3.0, uh, it revolutionized the interaction part, interactive web. It became a more interactive web. And they say the web was turned into a database. What does that exactly mean when I say the web was turned into a database? Uh, if it is upgraded into a database, it will enable you to what? Uh, Upgrade the backend of the database. Backend where the database is located. See, it is used 3.0 is a term, Web 3.0, which we are talking about. It is used to describe many evolutions about, as far as web usage is concerned and web interaction is concerned. It talks about many evolution. Data is not owned but instead shared. This is a concept which is really interesting. Data is not owned. I am not the owner. I will not say I am the owner of the data. Okay. Data is, of course, I'm giving the data, I'm putting the data onto the web, but we are sharing it. That simply means, you know at no point of time there is a ownership issue over there. Getting my point? Sharing is more of a uh, uh, service. Okay. uh, the same data can be viewed in different ways because of the applications. The applications became smarter in Web 3.0. So the same data you can view in different ways. For example, let's take a very simple example. You have some data at a place. You have some data regarding the you know financial condition of a particular, let's say, state. Let's say we are talking about a state, the financial condition of that state. Okay, the data is there. Out of the data, I want to find out only during a particular period what has happened. So now what is happening? The data is there. But what I am viewing? I am viewing only one window where a particular period I am looking at. I'm not looking at the whole thing. Getting it? So depending on my need, based on my need, I'm viewing the data. Okay, I'm not looking at the entire data and trying to find out what happened during this particular period. I can very easily say this is the period, filter it out for me, it will filter it out for me and show it. Got it? This was the beauty of Web 3.0. The Web 3.0 was also the popular term which is used for Web 3.0 is it is called as semantic web. Okay, they say it will produce the world's information. What does that mean? World as a global village. Information for the entire world it will publish. Now suppose say I talk about Google. Google gives you information, isn't it? You search for anything, it gives you information. But does it give you the information in the way you want it? No way. It will simply, it has a duty. The duty is, since it's a search engine, it will pick up all the data which you ask for, which is present across different places and give it to you. But semantic web is a concept. This 3.0 says it is a 3.0 is a version which will give you the semantic web. What does that mean? Very simple. The data in a way I want it to be presented. Got it? Entirely user-driven. Entirely user-driven. That's what 3.0 is all about. Semantic web. All right. Uh, more and more interactive. Of course, we talked about that. We said the web pages have become interactive. What do you say? The World Wide Web has become more interactive. So now, why not have something in our own way? Why should we depend on something which is already there? And we have to take time. We have to put in so much of effort to figure it out. No, I want something, I'll get it directly. That's what this whole concept was about. All right. Now, semantic web, uh, the evolution. Okay. I'll give you 5 main reasons. Okay. Web 3.0, the 5 main reasons why Web 3.0 as a concept is so popular. I'll give you 5 reasons. All right. The first is in the word which I just now mentioned, semantic web. Uh, the semantic web improves web technologies in demand. Okay. Demand for what? To create, share, and connect content through something called search and analysis. Now, who will do this search and analysis? The intelligent softwares will do the search and analysis. They will give me what I exactly want. Not that I will bother about, I get hundreds of web pages from there, I need to filter out the contents. No, it will give me exactly what I want. Now, how do I do that? How do I get it? Through intelligent applications. Okay, so it's full of intelligent applications which can give you the exact information which you. Okay, now uh, search and analysis when I'm talking about, it was limited to only words, numbers, etc. Remember, if you are going for a Google search, what happens? Google, normally we all are used to doing what? Entering a search string. Okay, some numbers, some periods based on keywords. Okay, and this becomes sometimes very confusing because if one of the keyword matches, the whole thing does not match, but just one keyword matches. I've given a sentence to search. All right, one keyword matches, it will give me that website which contains any content where that keyword is used. So sometimes I have to filter. I have to take a lot of time to filter it out. Got it? So to make it more effective, this semantic web concept was developed. It can what it can do is it can analyze, the software can analyze what you are searching for. Based on that, next time when you go for a search, maybe on the same thing, maybe on a different thing, but based on your previous search experiences, already there is a picture of what you are looking for, based on which this intelligent search through the semantic web can give you more effective results. Okay, and to achieve this, another, I said 5 points: semantic web. Second thing which I'm talking about is artificial intelligence, AI, which is a very popular term nowadays, isn't it? Artificial intelligence, you know um, this particular capability, if we combine it with natural language processing in Web 3.0, that is exactly what is happening. Computers can distinguish information like human. Got it? How can they do that? Through AI, using AI, artificial intelligence. Okay, that is how they will give you faster and more relevant results. They can differentiate. Okay, it's not that it's just a keyword based search or a number based search. They can differentiate using artificial intelligence. Okay, so the result becomes more relevant, obviously, more intelligent to fulfill the requirement, isn't it? So artificial intelligence is the second point based on which Web 3.0 works. Okay, three-dimensional graphics are there, beautiful for the eyes, isn't it? 3D graphics. It is something which we all, when we look at 3D graphics, it is so eye soothing. Okay. Gone are the days when just, straight lines, circles, rectangles, where they are on the screen. We're looking at them. Now it is three-dimensional. Okay, 3D graphics. Uh, Websites use them. 3.0, any website you look at, they use 3D graphics. Okay. Uh, uh, Suppose you are talking about a museum guide, you are talking about a computer game. Okay, you are looking at an e-commerce website. Okay, these are examples where 3D graphics are hugely used. So you are taking a virtual tower of a museum on a website which provides you a virtual tower. It will walk you through the entire museum using 3D graphics, three-dimensional graphics. You can look at the left side, you can look at the right side, you can look ahead, you can see things, you can make out the shapes. That is what is 3D graphics all about. E-commerce websites to advertise products, okay, to give you more insight into various what do you say services that they offer. They use 3D graphics. Okay, that's just some of the examples. Next important thing about Web 3.0, I said 5 points, no? The next point, that is the fourth point, is connectivity. Uh, Connectivity is, I can say, nowadays it is zero downtime. Okay, you can never see. Have you ever seen this Google server down? I talked about this in one of my videos. I said it is zero downtime, isn't it? So it is more connectivity, what you can say, more connected nowadays. You can say 100% connectivity is available. Okay. The user experience evolves to another level of connectivity that gives you all the available information. Okay. Now, since you are the connectivity is, as I said, 100%, at no point of time you are leaving anything. All right, anything you are looking for, you are instantly getting it, and without interruption. That is what connectivity means, without interruption. Not for a second you are interrupted. Okay, it's connectivity all the time, you can say so. So with 3.0 focused on that. So now these, look at these 4 points from top to bottom. It's a semantic web technology which it uses. It uses artificial intelligence. 3D graphics are used. Okay, and connectivity is there. Okay. Now, what is the fifth point? Applications. multiple applications can use the same content. Okay. Earlier, what was happening in the earlier versions of Web, that is Web 2.0, a particular contents are associated with particular application. Only that application can use the contents. Nowadays, it is smart APIs, application programmers interface. What it does, application program interface. API enables one application to talk with another application. That means one application can ask another application to get something, and that other application is specialized to get that piece of information for you. So now what is happening, this particular application X is not specialized to get you that information, but Y is there. Y is specialized to gather that information for you. The X can ask Y to gather the information. You don't have to ask Y. Getting it? That is APIs. So smart applications are there. Because of these smart applications, you are being able to get whatever you want. Got it? So the services you can use everywhere due to this particular feature, that is smart application. Any content can be used by multiple applications. It's not limited that this content means only this application can access it. No. Got this? So these are the beautiful features of Web 3.0. Okay. Now, you know, if you can say, you can safely say, when you are comparing between these, all these versions of Web, you can safely say Web 3.0 is, why I say safely say, because there will be debates on it, saying Web 2.0, some of the technology Web 3.0 is using, so what, Web 2.0 had this already. But why I'm picking up this particular word, safely say, you can safely say, because it has become intelligent. Web 3.0 is an intelligent way. All right, not completely intelligent. Why? Because we are coming to the other versions. I'll not be able to talk about the other versions in detail, but I can just tell you something about the other versions that will make you more excited to use it. Okay, what is it? Web 4.0. Got it? Till 3.0 we have seen all the features, we have discussed all the features. Now comes Web 4.0, which is considered, they call it an ultra intelligent electronic agent. What does that mean? They call it another word they use it, they call it the symbiotic wave. You can look for this on the net. Symbiotic wave. Symbiotic wave means what does it means? It will allow you interaction between humans and machines. Beautiful, is it? Why and how? Symbiotic wave, is a term which is, lots of research is put into this, because of which we are talking about this particular version of the wave. W3 consortium also talking about this wave 4.0. Now symbiotic is something, what is envisioned over here, it will work as a human brain. Okay, uh, it will be as powerful as a human brain. Just imagine our brain, how powerful it is. We all know the power of our brain, the way to think, the way to decide, the way to act. All right. So symbiotic wave is a concept based on that. It says interaction between human and machine. Human, if the human is asking the machine to do something, the machine will do that. Got this point? Now, um, due to the, now this is possible with 4.0. Now the gradually the evolution is taking place. Mind it is not completely there, it is partially there. We are using technologies like nanotechnology, which is there. You all must be a bit aware, maybe more aware about nanotechnology. Okay, some of us are very well aware of nanotechnology. Nanotechnology is what? Nanotechnology is something which is making the world shrink. Okay, and what it allows controlled interaction between human and you know machines. That's what Web 4.0 envisioned, or that is what Web 4.0 is driving. Got it? Now, this is a concept which is still uh, uh, in the, you can say, transition phase. I mean, it's happening. It has not completely happened, Web 4.0. We are still using Web 3.0. But soon we'll start calling it Web 4.0. Got it? Uh, it will give you everything that you can imagine. You don't have to even type something. Now this is happening, no? Google search, you ask for something, you say it gives it to you, isn't it? Now a day will come when you know the computer, if I put something over here, the computer can read my brain, what I'm thinking of, what content I want, and it can give it to me. It's a bit far-fetching, but it's going to happen. Research is going on based on this. Got my point? It can pick up my brain waves. It can pick up my brain pulses, and my thought process. It can judge, and accordingly it can translate and give it to the machine. The machine will give me the content. Suppose I am thinking of, okay, today I want to know about the history of Unix operating system. So it comes into my mind, immediately it will be transformed into words, and the machine will give me that information. This is the beauty of Web 4.0. Now, going a step ahead, what they are saying, they are saying a day comes when Web 5.0 will be there. It is still a concept. Maybe it is still a concept, and nothing. It's just an idea. You can say it's an underground idea going on inside somebody's mind. Okay, it is an idea, but it is not completely in force till now. I mean to say, it is work has already begun. People are already thinking about it. It is a symbiotic wave. It will be a symbiotic wave, but it will be decentralized. Okay, and uh, you know there will be nothing called a personal server. Why? Because if I say personal, I'm talking about ownership. Okay, so what Web 5.0, the vision is, it will be completely decentralized. That simply means all information is accessible to everybody. Relax. It's not your bank details, it's not your personal details we are talking about. We are talking about information in general. Got it? Okay. Of course, I mean, information which need to be private will remain private. But then this Web 5.0 is still a concept, and it is yet to be, I mean to say, come into existence. Uh, okay. Even, don't worry, they have already, people over there have already envisioned Web 6.0 also. But let's not talk about it. If you go to Google and search for Web 6.0, you'll get some information about Web 6.0 also. Okay. Uh, it is, they are saying they will have something called IISM, Internet Information Service Manager, a facility which will uh, give IIS, they popularly call it, Internet Information Service 6.0. All right. So this will take time to come, of course. Okay, but don't worry. This still, all these concepts are in the mind of people. People are working towards it. Uh, Scientists are doing research on it. So the day is not far off when this will come. And mind it, this transition, it is happening too fast, too fast. Okay, maybe after this day, when we are talking about this whole thing in this particular video, within some days you will get Web 4.0 directly saying that there is no Web 3.0 overlapping. Of course, 2.0, 3.0, 4.0 all that. All right. So now I'll call it Web 4.0. Really. All right, friends. Okay, friends. So, in this particular video, I tried to talk with you about the evolution of the World Wide Web, about the various differences between the various persons. It's not possible again, to talk about the whole thing because this is a topic which is used, as I said in the beginning. All right, but still, then I tried my best to explain the differences between them. Okay, hope you like this video, friends. And again, please do share this, please do subscribe, give your comments, and press the like button. Till that time, I come up with my next video. Take care, stay safe, bye bye.